going to say today? Does anyone know? Anyone? What am I going to say to you today? Frankly, I myself do not know. But let's try. I know the general theme that we have been trying to develop. What is it? Seeking. All right. Do you think about it? Do you think about what we have reflected together on this theme so far? Quite a bit has been covered already. Or is it the case that as soon as the assembly is over, you shut your minds and never turn back? Now that is when the assembly becomes less of an inspiration. If you can be partners with me in making the assembly more of a powerful experience, which we can, by developing the habit of living with the insights that you receive through the assembly, then the quality of the assembly will improve automatically. Your role in the assembly is perhaps more crucial than my role, though the common understanding is to the contrary. In fact, my own inspiration in communicating with you is actually derived from you. Believe you me, that is a fact. I come here, I look at you, and I speak simply because there is so much energy, intellectual energy, that I can derive from you. Your keenness is my sustenance, and I sense it all the time. All right? You don't worry about my shoelace. I know I will not trip and fall. Even if I fall, I will not let go on the mic. I will still be speaking. All right? Even when I tumble down, lying down there, I will address the assembly. That's my spirit. Okay? All right. But I would advise both of you to be more alert. In case I fall forward, you are strong and athletic enough to intervene effectively and break the fall without breaking your neck. Okay? All right. Now, yes, I think I will today think with you on seeking, of course, connecting it to college, what the college stands for, which is the pursuit of excellence in higher education, right? This all of you know. I wonder what you have understood of this. I wonder if you have ever asked yourself, what does this mean after all? You know, what happens in human life is that many ideals remain only as sets of words. They do not become experiences. Many symbols lose their life or their potency because they are separated from their lived meanings. For example, our national emblem. What does it mean to you? Oh, the national flag, which is also an emblem. It's a symbol. Every flag is a symbol. All right? Now, the motto of the college, Ad Dei Gloriam. It's also a symbol. Now, what does that mean to you? Now, it doesn't mean a thing simply because we have not developed the habit of thinking on whatever we encounter. We simply gloss over things. We walk past possibilities. And it is this habit that needs to change. And this habit, unfortunately, is the result of the kind of schooling you have received, which has dinned into you this idea that you should study only for examination and for the purpose of scoring marks. There's a most retrograde, most destructive idea in education I can imagine. If that idea is not abandoned right away, you will not enter into the privilege of pursuing excellence. Either you pursue marks or you pursue excellence. I'm not saying that these two are completely mutually exclusive. I'm saying that pursuing marks is a very, very small part, sometimes an obstructive part in the pursuit of excellence. All right, now let's begin to slowly unpack this experience, this mandate, this goal of seeking excellence, right? Now, as a prelude to that, I have to take up one particular aspect of our predicament today from which everyone suffers. We take it as axiomatic that we are living in a very complex, complicated, confusing times. You've heard people say this? Life 100 years ago, 200 years ago was very simple. Now the world has become too complicated. Issues of life have become very complex. And therefore, making choices and taking decisions have all become extremely burdensome. We do not know what to choose because life is so complex. I want to say this to you as emphatically as I can, that this idea of the crushing complexity of human life at the present time is a myth. Life today is as simple and as complicated as it was 2,000 years ago. No fundamental issue has changed one bit. Human nature has not changed one bit. I tell you what has changed. I tell you the reason for this sense of unmanageable complexity. The reason is this, and that is very simple. You see, what has happened in our times is only the multiplication of possibilities. Now, the multiplication of possibilities can either be a blessing or a burden, depending on how you are disposed. Plenitude of possibilities, or large numbers of possibilities, becomes a burden when you want to have all of them, which is absurd. Life is all about, living is all about making choices. For example, should you attend the lecture at 9:35? Or should you go to the cafe? Or should you go to the library? Or should you go to the university rose garden? Or should you go and roam around in Connaught Place? Or should you sit under the green tree and dream? Should you go to the science dhaba which is not open? Now, all these possibilities, right? Now, why should these possibilities confuse you? They will confuse you only because you are not clear about your purpose. If you are clear that you've come to St. Stephen's College to develop your intellectual capacities, to widen your experiential horizon, to equip yourself to be a productive, dignified, valued member of the society in due course, then life is very simple. Then you know exactly what to do. All these possibilities will not burden you. Now, why I am saying this to you is that the pursuit of excellence will become a chimera, an illusion, or an unattainable goal, an ever-receding mirage, if you do not come out of this illusion, this myth, that life is too complicated, I do not know what to do. Of course you know what to do. There's no need to be confused about anything at all. If you're honest with yourselves, you will know that the problem is not that the world is complicated. The problem is that you are confused. You're projecting your lack of clarity onto the world outside and then turning that into an excuse because you do not want to assume the responsibility for your inability to apply yourself in honesty and consistency to the given context, which is actually full of enriching possibilities. I hope this is clear to you. Please make sure that you do not allow your mind to play games with you. Be clear that you've come to St. Stephen's College to study under the larger concept of pursuing excellence. Okay? Now this is the preface, as it were. Now, what does it mean to pursue excellence? Does anyone have any idea? You've been here in this college now 3 months. You've heard this phrase repeatedly. You've read in the prospectus. Has anyone thought about it? The pursuit of excellence. What is excellence? Now, this is something that should actually make us worry. It shows the degree or extent of intellectual passivity to which we have succumbed. Our mind must always be alert, active, and responsive to the world around, and that's the ideal state of a student. We must learn from everything. We can learn from the walls. You know, very often when I travel, and I travel very little these days because of the congested roads, I learn a lot from the bumpers of cars. You know, the car in front of you has a rear bumper, and many people have stickers, right? For example, one sticker said, you know, do not follow me, I am lost. Right? Now, of course, that tells you a lot, right? Do not follow me, I am lost. The another sticker said, your car may be better than mine, but I am ahead of you. Of course, there are other stickers as well. So, wherever you are, for example, there is a lot to be learned from the architecture of your college. A lot to be learned. So, it's written, ad Dei gloriam or whatever. Let's stay with pursuit of excellence. Now, let me give you an illustration. You are, since I introduced the idea of traveling, I'll stay with traveling as an illustration. You are driving a car. Don't worry about which car. Any car will do. As long as it has 4 tires and some petrol in it and other parts being intact. Now, there are 3 aspects to your moving along the road. One is the condition of the car and your relationship with the car, meaning you have to be a driver. A driver is in a very well-defined relationship with the car he drives. A driver, whether he drove a car 50 years ago or now, cannot say, I am confused. That will be the end of your life. A driver is never in any confusion. A carpenter is never in any confusion. Your mother, when she cooks in the kitchen, even if she is doing continental cuisine, is in no confusion. Why are you in confusion? All right. So, there is first of all the vehicle and its driver, implying a very well-defined relationship. Right? Number two, there are cars, vehicles in motion, both at the rear and in the front. Obvious? No highway is designed only for you. There are other vehicles all the time. The third factor is the destination. You're out to go somewhere, isn't it? Now, all these three things apply to the pursuit of excellence. Now, let me explain how. You must develop the habit of starting with the familiar and moving on to something different. That is the intellectual training. That is the discipline of thinking. Right? So, now, in the pursuit of excellence, perhaps the first point of emphasis must be you. What is your state? Are you in the best of condition? Physically, mentally, spiritually? Are you on the reverse gear or forward gear? When does attendance become a problem? When the scholars of St. Stephen's College are on the reverse gear. Okay? You've been on the forward gear, therefore you reached here. The others are also, those who are absent are also traveling, but they are on the reverse gear. They are also going somewhere. And the car must be roadworthy. Or to translate that metaphorically, you must be St. Stephen's worthy. There is a relationship, a dynamic relationship between the car, or as one advertisement goes, car. What is that? Is that how it is pronounced? Nissan? Nissan funny. All right. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Because, the advertisement must push itself to the end limit because they've exhausted their resources. They don't know what to say. Yet they have to persuade foolish people to spend more money. By the way, I don't ever buy a new car. I always buy, if at all, second-hand car. There are very many reasons for it. I will give you a separate talk on this. I will first take permission from the economics department. All right? Otherwise, they will accuse me of ruining the economy of the college or of the country. All right. So there is the first factor, which is the condition of the car. Now, do you pay attention to yourself? How much attention do you pay to yourself? Now, I said every car has a driver. Now, if you are the car, who is the driver? Who is the driver? Your motivation. Your motivation. How motivated are you? You may be the best of cars, Rolls-Royce. But if there is no motivation, what will happen? I don't know if Rolls-Royce is the best car. It's the most expensive car. Perhaps now there may be other more expensive cars, right? Like Maruti 800. Now, if your motivation is low or non-existent, what difference does it make? On the other hand, if your motivation is keen, when I write testimonials or recommendations, one of the things I invariably write about is motivation. Because for me, that's one of the most important aspects of a young person, or any human being. I mean, I could be 80, if my motivation is all right, everything is all right. There is extreme power in motivation. Right? Now, just as the driver in the car is in functional harmony, you and your motivation must be in perfect harmony. Okay? Right. Now, how do you ensure that you are all right? This is why I introduced in the preface the concept or the epidemic of confusion. Confusion is a state in which parts are not in alliance. You may have the most perfect parts, but if the parts are not in alliance, or if the parts are working at cross purposes, then the outcome is miserable. Okay? So you have to ensure that your own inner harmony. Now, one of the ways in which your inner harmony is jeopardized or undermined is by entertaining contrary interests, contrary motives. Should I go to the classroom? Should I go somewhere else? Should I go here? Should I go there? You know, in philosophy, there is a classic problem. If you have two piles of sweet-smelling hay, don't know how many of you know hay. Have you seen hay? Okay. If you have two fragrant, very attractive, sweet-smelling equal piles of hay at some distance, and you tie a donkey exactly in the geometric middle of the pile, which way will the donkey turn? The donkey will look at this pile, then look at this pile, and continue to do this forever and die of hunger? Do you think it will happen? Because what will you choose? You have to choose the better of the two, isn't it? As we say in our Indian English, both are equally better. Okay? So how do you choose? Oh, no donkey will ever die of hunger because of confusion. Because hunger abolishes confusion. This is a problem that afflicts only human beings. So the first thing you have to do is to get rid of this confusion. Because confusion will kill your motivation or paralyze your motivation and neutralize all the glorious possibilities that you comprehend. You must get out of it. Okay? Now, I must say that in the kind of context in which we are, there are all kinds of contrary suggestions. For example, one very attractive suggestion is be rebellious. You know, our greatest self-expression is we want to be rebellious. I said, Stephen's College does not offer an honors program in rebelliousness. I have not admitted anyone to this course. This course does not exist. It is being imported from somewhere. No? Pinjira thodo. Where is this pinjira? Pinjira is cage. Huh? My reply is pinjira chodo. Why are you in the pinjira? Who asked you to be in the pinjira? I mean, have some shame. Somebody mutters something in a corner, immediately everybody repeats, pinjara thodo, pinjara thodo. Far easier solution is chodo. Now, all this is completely irrational. And this will paralyze your will and your motivation by infecting you with contrived grievances. This is what I call the hypodermic model of spreading grievances. You know hypodermic injection? You understand what hypodermic is? A hypodermic, when you go to the hospital and if they inject, that's a hypodermic injection. Unless of course it is directly into the vein. If it's into the muscle, it's hypodermic, okay? So we are all being injected, not everyone, I am not injected, some of you, being injected with this wonderful new course called defiance. And defiance only at night. 9:45, Pinjara Thodu. So, what I'm saying is that you cannot really pursue excellence if you are exposed to all this kind of thing. I notice that the time is up, so I will not go to the next two items. There is time. We are in no hurry. We are not doing a university course. All right? I will now have the prayer. But as I said at the outset, please stay where you are until we have moved out of the hall. Let's rise.